Welcome everyone to our Monday night Let's Grow Zoom call. This is something we're doing especially for all of us that are participating in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, which has been one of my favorite books of all time. So we've tried to have a few surprises for you guys, and I've heard from several different people over the past 2 months. And tonight I'm so excited to introduce our own Kim Phillips, Senior Gold Ambassador. She's one of my BFFs for a long time back, and her husband is super close friend of ours. We've known him for so long, and I'm so excited to hear from Jay Phillips and get his take on leadership. Jay has wore a lot of different hats over the past 20 years that I've known him. He is, of course, a wife to Kim. He is father. Believe it or not, he is a grandfather. And I don't know how this happened, but he is a great-grandfather, too.
I don't know how that happened either.
You'll have to explain that because he's so young. And he has been a pastor. He has had leadership roles in the church. He has had leadership roles in different jobs that he's had. He's been counselor. He's just a great guy. We like to say he's the mayor because wherever we go, everyone knows Jay Phillips. He is a born networker. And so I'm super excited to hear from him. So take it away, Jay.
First off, I just want to say hello, and thank you, David, for giving me this chance to do this. First thing I'd like to point out, I am not Kim's wife. I am Kim's husband.
Sorry.
So, I was introduced, I think she's going back to the days of the womanless beauty pageant. I'm not so sure about that. That's a whole different conference call. But anyway, thank you, Dave. I appreciate you and I love you. This evening, I want to talk about helping others through leadership by ways of plexus. One thing I've learned since being in leadership is this. We need to make sure we're focused on helping others be focused, and God will bring our focus into place in due time. What I mean by that is that if we can work and make sure that we're helping everybody else get to the point that they need to be, when it is the time on God's timing as far as that goes, your focus will be brought into place exactly where it needs to be. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in what we're doing, and especially as leaders, sometimes we can forget about helping everybody else. I remember there was a time that when I was pastoring and I had a congregation, but plus I also had a group of guys that were coming out of the Foundry, which was a drug and alcohol rehab. And a lot of times I would catch myself focusing too much on the congregation and leave out the guys in the back. And then I would find myself focusing on the guys that were part of our program and forget about the congregation. So you just have to learn how to keep focused on everybody, and then your focus comes into place and everything. I heard a quote one time that it says this: we need to make sure we are focused on helping others because God will bring our focus into place in due time. And I repeated that because of the fact I just think it's a very important thing that we get that. You know, if you read the Bible a lot, things are repeated over and over. And so things that are important need to be said a lot of times over and over. There was a quote that I heard one time that said this: we all are here on earth to help others. What on earth the others are here for, I don't know. And that makes a lot of sense because we need, like I said, it all goes back to that part of us making sure that we're focused on helping others. The next one is that is close to my heart is this: I'm willing to make my part of life public if it will help others. And that's what leads me into my part of how my true leadership came about. Some of you may know, I'm pretty sure some of you do not know. I went through a 6-year-long battle with drug addiction and was addicted to opiates. And at one point in my life in 2013, I tried to take my life and ended up at the Foundry, a place that I had been connected to. And I got there, and all these things that I thought that I had lost and was not ever going to be able to come back to me as far as being a leader, being a pastor, being a counselor, being anything as far as that goes. Slowly but surely, God started putting all that back into place because I didn't just only focus on myself when I was in the Foundry. I focused a lot on other people. I've always been one that cares and worries about somebody else. And I think that trait is very good to a certain extent. It can be good for you sometimes, and sometimes it can harm you. But in the most part, I think I got to the place that I am now in life because of the fact that I was focusing and helping others get to where they needed to be. I was there for about a year, and while I was there, there was people that started following me and trying to connect with me, and I had no title, no kind of place there. I was just another resident like everybody else, but they saw something different in me, I guess a leadership quality that they wanted to get hooked up with and wanted to be part of. And like I said, I had no title. And as I went through the process of being there, I was one of the first, I was the only resident to ever baptize somebody while they were in the program. And then other doors started opening. I started working in different places. There was areas that God was opening up as far as able for me to preach in some places. And I remember distinctly the day that I graduated. They called my name out, and I walk up on stage, and as you know, there's about 30 to 30 people that was graduating that day. And anyway, I walked up on stage, and as I walked up on stage, everybody in the building, men and women that I had been part of their life, all stood up and started clapping. And look, I didn't know to the extent that I had touched their lives in such a way and had become such a leader in their eyes. And it was a very humbling experience. And I graduated there in February of 2015, and then I went to work for the Foundry about a month after that. It's just one of the things that we have to learn and to remember in the leadership role is the fact that we have to always, and it goes back to the very first statement I made, we have to always make sure that we're there for the others that's part of our group. Because I'm going to get a little ahead of myself here, but we're only as good as the people that we have around us. And if we don't make them top notch and make sure that they're getting to the place that they need to be, then we're not ever going to reach the potential that we can be either. Very quickly, I just want to point out 6 things about being a good leader. Number 1 is this: it's to teach and to learn. Smart leaders know what they don't know. And I know that sounds crazy, but it has a lot of truth, because just because that you're learning is a constant process and doesn't stop when you become a team leader, because you need to be learning as much as you possibly can. And when it comes to Plexus, you need to be learning every in and out of this business that you possibly can. And so you not only while you're teaching, you could be learning things, because you're going to have to start teaching people new things, because there's going to be a new way to do everything at some point in time. We need to become the kind of leader that people follow voluntarily, even if we have no title or no position. And that's where it comes into the teaching and learning part. Number 2 is this: we have to be bold. To be a good leader means you sometimes need to go down the untraveled path. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in what we're doing and thinking the way that we're doing it is the only way to do it. And all of a sudden you see somebody else that's bypassing you and going on and leaving you here, your senior gold, and somebody else already went to Emerald, and you're thinking, how did they do that? Well, they were willing to get off the road that they've been on for a while and to take that untraveled road that looked hard, looked rough, but yet they decided to do it anyway. And that takes being bold to do that. Tonight I can give you the formula I can't give you the formula for success, but I can give you the formula for failure, which is this: try to please everyone. If you try to please everyone, you are not going to make it, okay? I am a prime example of that, because I have always wanted to make sure everybody liked me. As Datha said earlier, my nickname is the Mayor, so I thought everybody was supposed to like me. But yet, it's not always the case. I've umpired for 37 years. I really got into the wrong business if I wanted everybody to like me, because everybody's not going to like me when I'm umpiring or refereeing basketball. But if we try to keep continuously pleasing everyone, we're not going to get to the place that we need to be. This is how we need to think. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep, but I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. And that lion is you. because you're leading this group here, and you are the line of that group. Whether they're a bunch of sheep or they're a bunch of lions or a bunch of giraffes, they're a bunch of penguins, you're leading them and carrying them to the place they need to be because you're being bold. Number 3 is this: we have to be humble. You cannot learn new things if you cannot admit that you're still a work in progress. Amen. We are all still a work in progress. I know there's times I think in my life that I have reached the pinnacle of my life, that I can't do anything else or be anything else. But God quickly reminds me that the reason why I'm not helping somebody is because I'm not trying to remember that I still am a work in progress also. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And all of you that are leaders in Plexus, you know the way that you're supposed to be going, and you just need to make sure that you're going that way. And as long as you're going that way, you're showing the way to these people that's trying to follow behind you, your new people that you're getting. Number 4 is this: listen to your people. That sounded like a Bible verse of some kind there. Listen to your people. Sorry, Moses. Anyway, listen, your people are your greatest resource. Listen to their feedback and encourage their dreams. Goes back to all that thing about teaching and learning. You're only as good as the people around you in this type of business, especially. Ronald Reagan once said this: the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. And it's really amazing how when you're teaching people how to do great things and get them on the track that they're supposed to be, how your life all of a sudden just starts lining up and going in the direction that it's supposed to go. Just with my time at the Foundry, and one of the things I didn't tell a while ago is the fact with at the Foundry, I just lost my job there about a week ago. And it just brings me down very much with the aspect of trying to balance out things and to do things there. And I thought because I'm not going to be there anymore and God's taken me to a different place, that I thought my leadership ability has plummeted. But it hasn't, because God sees something else in me and is trying to put me in a different area, into a place that he wants me to be, to where I can show those leadership abilities.
Amen.
I get an amen from the crowd. Hey. Number 5, we have to have balance. My wife said this one a while ago. Being a good leader is a balancing act. The challenge of leadership is to do this. We have to be strong, but not rude. We have to be kind, but not weak. We have to be bold, but not a bully. We have to be thoughtful, but not lazy. We have to be humble, but not timid. We have to be proud, but not arrogant. One of the greatest purposes of life is to serve, and to show compassion and the will to help others is one of the greatest things that you'll ever do. And it helps in that balancing act. And lastly, number 6 is this: we have to tackle the challenges that come against us. To be a great leader, there's no such thing as a challenge too big to handle. One of the things that I told Kim the other day was that she was, I don't know if I should use the word grumbling, but she was pointing out something about the fact that she had been talking to 1 or 2 people about becoming ambassadors. And those people had decided, after she had been talking to them for almost a year, she finds out that they have joined Plexus, but with someone else. And so I told her, I said, sometimes you have to be careful what you wish for. I said, because maybe God didn't send you those people because you wasn't ready for that challenge. Because what I mean by that is that the ambassadors you get sometimes are not going to be always the ones that's very easy to handle. They're not going to always be the ones that go by the book and just say, hey, this is the way we got to do it. They're going to go out on their own. Or either they're not going to work the whole process, and that's going to get you aggravated. And so I told her, I said, just be careful what you pray for, because those people maybe went to somebody else because you wasn't ready to handle that challenge of that person. Once you adopt this attitude, your people will follow you. Successful leaders see the opportunities in every difficulty rather than the difficulty in every opportunity. And I'm going to repeat that. Successful leaders see the opportunities in every difficulty rather than the difficulty in every opportunity. We sometimes get so focused on the bad things that's going on that we don't see that we actually really have an answer for that difficulty. And God's trying to give it to us, but sometimes we just push it to the side because we're just too aggravated about it. The final test of a leader is this, is that he or she leaves behind them in other men and women the conviction and the will to carry on. The people that's under you, that's working with you, that you're helping get to the point that you're at now, and then you're going to reach another level eventually. You want those people to have that same conviction and that same will to do what you were doing and to lead people behind them. And the only way they're going to figure that out is by the way that you're going to show them. And tonight, I encourage you this, to be strong, be kind, be bold, be thoughtful, be humble, and be proud in this journey that you're on. And this journey you're on is called this, Plexus. That's about all I got, guys, and I'm sorry that it was short, and it may not have made any sense, but I hope that it helped somebody along the way.
It did make sense. I took notes.
Hey, oh my goodness, you don't even do that when Jason preaches.
I know. I mean, that's crazy. No, thank you. I love points. I love points because I relate to that, and I love what you said. The one thing I wrote down at the end that I put is inspire.
Yes.
You inspired us. So that's awesome. And just your example is inspiring. I'm glad you shared a little bit of your story. And it's not, being a leader is not about it's not about a title. It's about who you are. So anyone can be a leader. It's just the character and what you do. And I'm excited about what's going to happen in the near future with you, because I completely believe God's going to open up another door for you really quickly. I think we all believe that. So thank you so much for doing this, Jay. I appreciate it. I know this is a little bit kind of weird and strange and Zoom calls, but you knocked it out of the park.
I've preached in front of a lot of people, but yet I was more nervous having to sit here beside my wife.
Everybody says that.
You on the screen and have to talk to this computer, because it's way more intimidating than the few people that I stand in front of to preach to every once in a while.
That's what Todd said, the same thing.
Yes, he did.
I didn't realize 6 squares could scare you so much.
Yes.
I didn't call all y'all squares. I'm just talking about that your faces are in squares.
Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate all your words, and you're very inspiring tonight.